air in very deep wells. And second, it keeps compressed gas where it's supposed to be, down deep in the hole. Now, you got a mile of water when you're offshore, so you got additional pressure on top of that as well. There's a process every so often as you go down through these holes called cementing, and this is where you replace the mud periodically with concrete, and then you drill back down through it. It stabilizes the hole. You're supposed to pump the concrete down the center of a pipe into the well and then back the pipe out as the cement pushes the mud to the top. That's a messy job. What they asked for was a variance to remove the mud from the hole in order to do the cementing process. What happens is methane gas pushes its way through the cement and makes pinholes in it and causes a leak. And that's what happened on this well. They knew it was going to happen. They planned for it to happen, and it happened.
Well, let me ask you this. Wow, it sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable with that. So they're talking about the Russians used nuclear weapons or nuclear devices to stop leaks in the past. Would that be a viable option at this point?
Well, I've been on wells that have been dynamited before, and it hasn't been to stop the leak. It's been to help oil flow to the hole. So I know that they've used nuclear weapons under the ground, and it just literally just shatters the ground underneath, and then the ground collapses in on whatever formation is there. I didn't know they did it to stop oil leaks. I thought they drilled the test holes, they put the nuclear weapons down in there, their measurement devices around it, and then set it off.
Oh, that could very well be. I just know that
we did it too over 600 times.
Well, all I could say is, and this is just me talking, but I can't see anything positive coming from something like that, some sort of operation.
No, me either.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking that would probably be the last thing I would do, if at all. But we talk about the powers that be and what reasons they would have to exploit this or to make it worse, or do they see maybe that something's coming and there's really no urgency? I haven't really seen an urgency, I'll be quite honest with you. There hasn't been an urgency from our government to really go in and stop the leak. And I know if I was chief executive, I would throw everything but the kitchen sink at that thing. And I wouldn't care how much it costs. And I would say, you know what, we'll worry about that later. Let's stop this thing from going on.
You bring up a really good point, and it's an observation a lot of people have made, that this is just an open pipe. We can just go in and fill this thing with concrete and shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
That hole, that well, the Deepwater Horizon rig is sitting on $2.2 trillion worth of reserves. The 33 wells that he put a moratorium on, and by the way, there's a judge trying to reverse that right now, and they've filed some lawsuits, that you're talking about $10 trillion worth of oil. $10 trillion worth of oil. That's a lot of money. Now, that's all in the hands of BP and other oil companies, Chevron and others. And believe me, there's a lot of activity down there to try to clean up the spill and mitigate the spill, but not so much maybe to try to plug this well, because they want to save it. They want to put it back to production.
Have you heard it all? Have you heard at all if they damaged the seafloor at all when they did this? Because that's another thing.
This hole's only 500 feet deep. So this oil is very, very close to the bottom of the actual surface of the bottom of the sea there. Very close.
Wow. The one of the other things that I've heard is that if they cap the well, the whole thing will blow.
It's very close to the surface. This is a dangerous, dangerous setup. A blowout of that magnitude could turn the Gulf of Mexico into an oil slick. Now, there are wells off the coast of Brazil, which Obama just switched $2 billion to to encourage them to do deep water drilling off of the coast of Brazil. But those wells are 11,000 feet deep. That's a much safer proposition than drilling 500 feet deep.
Ah, I see. Okay. So the Deepwater Horizon drill or wellhead that we're looking at right now actually only goes down 500 feet. So it
for the oil zone. That's right. That's what makes it tricky. You can't just go in there with high explosives and blow that thing up, because you've got a formation that's probably, 50 square miles underneath that hole. There are several rigs already. If you look at Google Earth, you can see those rigs sitting off of Grand Isle. There are several rigs punched into that formation right now.
So what benefit then would be a relief well? If you've got other rigs tapping into this same deposit, then what good would drilling another hole do, or another two holes?
Another hole or two would be good if they do directional drilling to that location, because what they can do is pump concrete in those holes, and the pressure leaking out of this one will grab that concrete and shut that well off. That's what they're trying to do. But it's a one in a million shot, because you're trying to drill a hole a mile away is when you're going to start your hole. And, in 3 months, we've got hurricane season starting.
Right. And not to mention, didn't they say that the target that they're trying to hit is about the size of a plate, a dinner plate?
Yeah, it's 12 inches across.
From a mile away.
Well, that's right. That's right. First of all, you got to get your drill steel a mile down to the bottom. Then you got to keep it straight enough while you turn it to make another hole.
Well, that's my point. Yeah, because, you're talking even microns and variance off. That can push you off when you talk about a distance, drilling a long distance. Any sort of variance like that or deviance can make you miss the target.
That's right. And so what they do is they go in and they set packers. These are inflatable balloons that seal off the hole with a drinking straw stuck through the middle of it, the drill pipe, and they pump high pressure acid into the hole, and it eats away the rock and will make it into the formation. So that's called fracking. And they'll actually frack those two holes to get close to or closer to the hole that's got the gas drive that's blowing all the oil into the Gulf.
Doctor, for the average Joe out there that has been preparing and is awake, what should they be doing in your estimation to try to make it through what's about to happen as far as the 2012 transcending the galactic plane and the oil?
I would recommend, and I don't know how many people are listening tonight, I don't want to be an alarmist, but I would recommend at least a 30-day food and water supply. I wouldn't get any more than that. Some people out there say 2 years, but you can't pack 2 years with you. If you have to leave town, you can make it out, you and some friends, with maybe a 30-day food supply, probably more like 2 weeks. And it's going to have to be specially prepared, because you're not walking out with a 30-day food supply made of canned goods. You're not going to be able to carry it, and you won't be able to drive. Forget about that.
Oops.
Think about where you would have to go to retreat, like a family farm or a park or something up on the mountain, with a 30-day food supply and water, and I would start putting that together. The second thing I would do is, if I lived on the coast and I could see the beach, I would take some pictures, and I would get the hell out of there.
Well, as we speak, I'm working on building my very first solar cell or solar panel with several different cells. I've got about 17 cases of homemade turkey and other assorted meats, venison and hot dog and Spam and ham canned, and I've got approximately, I'd say for my wife, child, and I, 6 months worth of food, and I got, maybe, a half a quart of firewood cut so far. And should I be digging